Clerk Segrist, please call the roll.
Trustee Anthony.
Present.
Trustee Foster.
Good evening.
Trustee Graham Hudek. Record reflect that Clerk Segrist is in attendance. Treasurer Slavens.
Good evening.
Trustee Snyderman.
I am present.
And Supervisor Williams.
Good evening. I'd like to call for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
In favor of the motion presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Call for a motion to approve one set of minutes from August 27th, 2019 meeting.
So moved.
Support.
In favor of the motion as presented, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Now would be the time in our agenda for any citizens' non-agenda items. Is there anybody that would like, please, Mr. Miller, if you'd like to speak?
George Miller. I'd like to know when we can get Sheldon Road swept from Palmer Road, basically, to Joy Road, in the same way with Lily. I asked a couple of weeks ago. It's so bad that some of the manholes are covered up with and starting to grow grass on them and alongside the curb. You can't even see the curb. We have a street sweeper, don't we, machine? Is that correct?
Don't use it for county roads, no.
You don't use it for county roads now?
No, sir. No, sir.
We had been, right?
Maybe after the meeting, you could talk to Melissa Dobbs, County Commissioner Dobbs, Representative Gunn.
Okay, great.
She could help you.
Now, one other thing is, I picked up a form over at the police department. It's supposed to be a witness form or a statement. It doesn't have witness on it anywhere on it whatsoever. Could we clear that up? Before, there was complaint forms and the grievance forms. We went through that. Now it's a witness form. One of your chief commanders said that's what it was. And this form he gave me didn't have any word of witness on it at all.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Okay, now we have, let's see, request, please, for a call for motion. Treasurer Slavens?
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion that we pay the bills. Support.
In favor of the motion to pay the bills again this month, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Diane. We have one item in the consent calendar. Ask Clerk Segrist to read as a single motion.
Mr. Supervisor, I move that the board approve the consent calendar as presented with item C1, consider second reading of an amendment to Appendix A, zoning of the Code of Ordinances for the Redwood Marketplace of America conditional rezoning.
Second.
Those in favor of the motion as presented, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You brought a big crew out tonight. I think you kind of wasted your drive, but you're welcome to be and stay for the meeting if you'd like to, guys. All right. General calendar. Our first item on the agenda this evening is consider approval of a 24-month extension to the existing contract with CIQUIFORCE Services for as-needed sanitary sewer repair services.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to approve a 24-month extension to the existing contract with CIQUIFORCE Services for an annual amount not to exceed $250,000 with an end date of December 31, 2021.
In summary, in 2017, the board approved the 2-year contract with CIQUIFORCE Services to provide as-needed trenchless technology repair and rehabilitation services for a sanitary sewer system. CIQUIFORCE Services has recently requested a 2-year extension to the original contract and has offered to keep the same 2017 rates. Staff is recommending approval of the extension. We have with us Director Smith, if anybody has any questions for Jade this evening on this topic. Yes, go ahead, Anne Marie.
That's great that they're keeping the same rates. Do we know that others are along the same line if we were to bid it out?
I would assume so, only because when it was bid out 3 years ago, it would have been a competitive bid. They would have been low at that point, and I know services have not gone down in price.
Is it possible that we check on that? I mean,
Yeah, we could call around and get some pricing. Yes.
Questions? Seeing none, those in favor of the motion as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item G2, consider waiving the purchasing policy and approve the emergency purchase of an onboard generator for the Public Safety's Mobile Command Unit.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to approve waiving the purchasing policy and approve the emergency purchase of one Cummins Commercial Mobile 12,000 kilowatt diesel generator from American Generator Sales and Services LLC in the amount of $16,099.37.
Support. Summary, Public Safety Department's Mobile Command Unit requires an onboard 12,000 kilowatt diesel generator to operate all emergency equipment while on the scene of an emergency situation. The current diesel generator has failed and is not repairable currently. The vehicle only can be used with a tow-behind generator and a pickup truck borrowed from DPW. If approved, Fleet Services will replace the unit with a new Cummins Commercial Mobile 12,000 kilowatt diesel generator from American Generator Sales and Services in the amount as stated. Are there any questions for Director Meyer? Seeing none, those in favor of the motion as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Item G3. Consider approving a request to award the general contractor bid and auxiliary services for construction of Fire Station Number 2 and an associated 2019 fire budget amendment.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to approve awarding the bid for general contractor of Fire Station Number 2 to the Daily Company in the total amount of $6,355,000, which includes $520,700 in contingencies for construction, traffic signal, and winter conditions.
Support.
June, the township received 9 bids from general contractors for the construction of Fire Station Number 2. Comprehensive interviews of the 4 lowest bid contractors were held, and based on the interviews, completeness, and of the bid proposals, understanding the project, past experience, and score evaluations, the Public Safety Department is recommending the construction contract be awarded to Daly Company. The Daly Company's original bid was $5,925,000, but has since negotiated to convert $90,700 for winter conditions into the contingency account, bringing the construction bid price to $5,834,300. In addition to the construction bid price, we are requesting the Daly Company be awarded following $350,000 for construction contingency, $90,700 for winter conditions contingencies, and $80,000 for traffic signal contingency. Overall, the contract price of $6,355,000 is stated. The Daly Company for the construction of the Fire Station Number 2. Several auxiliary services are also required to complete the construction of the new station, including DTE transformer site work, not to exceed $50,000, asbestos removal, not to exceed $30,000, construction testing, not to exceed $30,000, and a contract amendment with partners in architecture in the amount of $35,045. Auxiliary expenses budgeted in 2020, creating no financial impact on this RBA, include network and phone equipment not to exceed $25,000, station furnishings not to exceed $40,000, and appliances not to exceed $15,000. An amendment to the 2019 fire budget to fund this project is also being requested as stated in the model resolution. And we have with us Director Meyer as well as Deputy Director Stockline, if there's any questions for the board, as well as Wendy, if we go down that path as well. Any questions? I've seen this quite a few times in different presentations.
Have we, the gentleman from the Daly Company, you're in the back row there? Okay. Hi, welcome. Have you done any work with the township before? Our township? And probably come up to the microphone, to the dais.
I would ask that you approach the dais. And the question was, have you done any work with the township specifically?
I saw a letter of recommendation from Troy.
Yes, we've never worked for the township. We're currently working in the township on a project, the Bickford Senior Living facility
Okay.
down the street, but we have not contracted directly with the township before.
Of the 4 bids that we interviewed, the Daly Company was the only one that has constructed or has past experience constructing a fire station, and in the last 10 years, they've built 7 fire station facilities within 10 years, so that was a driving factor in our selection.
So the company who built the one in Cherry Hill Village area, did they not bid again this time?
That was done as a construction manager project versus a general contractor, so no, they did not bid on this project.
Is there any additional comments, questions? Go ahead, Emery.
So I was looking at what you have here. So you have 9 bidders here, like you said, and none of them had any fire experience at all then?
I don't know about the 9. We only interviewed the 4 lowest bidders. There were 5 bids that we didn't even interview. So I'm not sure what those, of those 5. Michael Malone might be able to speak to that.
Good evening. Of the 4 bidders that we interviewed the low 4 bidders. That's how we typically start our evaluation process. And let me see here. I believe Sean Schenk, they actually had a fire station they've recently completed. C.E. Gleason has not had any fire stations. And A.Z. Shmina, I don't believe they had any that I can recall. They say I think one of their project managers had worked on 1 or 2 fire stations, but they didn't submit a fire station project, for us to reference.
You don't know if any of these others that you didn't choose had any fire station experience?
I can't answer that specifically. We have all of their qualification documents, but we didn't go past the 4th bidder based on, the costs.
I
The
guess-
low 4 bidders, I'm sorry, the low 4 bidders were quite tight in their cost arrangement, within a couple of percentage points of each other.
I guess just my concern. So what other fire stations have they done? The ones that you've chosen here, which other fire stations?
Daily Company, are you
Yes.
stating? Maybe you'd like to come up and explain your fire stations, the 7 that you guys have worked on? You have that list?
I don't have the list with me, but we've completed a very similar project in the city of Troy recently, which was a brand-new ground-up facility immediately adjacent to an existing fire station that kept operational. And then when the new fire station was completed, they was occupied, and then we demolished the existing fire station, which was right next door, and converted it into parking, which is exactly what we're doing in this particular case. We've done 2 fire station projects in Lake Orion, and we did, I believe 4 fire station projects in the city of Detroit. Those were several years ago, but nonetheless, they were fire station projects. So between the city of Detroit, Lake Orion, and city of Troy, those are our fire station-specific projects that we've done.
How old are those fire stations?
City of Troy was last year it opened. Lake Orion was probably a year before that. We did 2 in Lake Orion. I don't have the exact dates in front of me, but within the last 5 years, we've done the 2 in Lake Orion and the city of Troy. And then the city of Detroit fire station projects were probably 10 years ago.
Have any of those fire stations used anything like renewable energy or anything new along the lines than some of our older fire stations from previous years?
Energy, not necessarily. I mean, they use current technologies, but I wouldn't say that they were, renewable energy per se. Solar or geothermal, things like that, no.
I know we were looking at that. Was that eliminated at some point, that we weren't going to do solar or?
We did actually receive alternate bids for some solar panels, and we looked at 2 different possibilities. One of them was, and I think I have it listed in my letter here, 1 row of solar array panels, which would be ground-mounted, a total of 51 solar panels. And alternate bid number 2 was to install about 153 solar panels. So we have alternate pricing for those. That really wasn't part of our recommendation, but it is an option if that's something the board would like to entertain.
You did get bids for that, but you just didn't bid it out to find the construction company then?
No, they gave us a bid. And,
Oh, you bid on those?
Yep, I can give you the number here. Just give me a second.
And we've done solar arrays. We built a parking deck for the city of Dearborn several years ago, and on the top level, there were solar arrays that fed power back into the grid. We have experience doing that sort of work.
Yeah, so alternate number 1 for 51 solar panels was an additional $82,000. And alternate number 2 for 150, whatever I said, 153 solar panels, sorry, was 204,000. And their alternate numbers for the Daly company were pretty consistent with the other bidders, so they're all in that range, very competitive.
Can I just ask a question? So did you guys work with DTE at all? Because they were offering, I mean, so if we want to put this on later, it's still a possibility, is that correct?
These are standalone, like ground mounted. We weren't mounting them on the building, so we could add them at any time.
The reasons they wouldn't be on the building, is it too heavy?
We thought this would be the most cost-effective approach, mounting them on the ground, and plus we had substantial site to work with where we could orient them in the exact, the building might not be exactly oriented the way you would want to gain the most surface area for the solar array. So the consultant we worked with kind of suggested putting them on the ground, and you can kind of place them anywhere you want. There's some trees we'd have to work around, of course, and potentially cut back or eliminate to get, the maximum solar exposure that we could, but that's the way we looked at it at this point.
So I'm just wondering, when you had done solar before, had you worked with the power company? Because I know DTE is offering all kinds of partnerships before.
DTE was involved in the process.
They were involved in your bids?
They weren't involved in the bids.
No, in the solar bids that you came up with, the ones that he just mentioned.
We contacted DTE prior to the bids and talked to them about grant opportunities and other resolutions. And for our specific project, the information we got back were there were no grant opportunities for what we were looking, or for renewable energy, either solar panels or the other. What we did do is look to design the building with the most energy efficient components and have the ability to expand upon that at a later date should the board decide to do that.
Placing, like, with new construction, and when you place conduit, and you're like, I've done this, so when you place conduit in, so you can pull in future technology for communications or something that we might have in the future for fire stations. Are you leaving openings like that?
Openings from the outside of the building
Yes.
into the building?
Yes.
I'm not sure if we have empty conduit specified, but that's something we could easily add into the project. I can't recall off the top of my head, but typically we do allow pathways throughout the building. Even if we're going from one side of the building to the other, we'd have some empty pathways to get up and over through a wall above a ceiling to pull technology. Cabling is really what we'd pull through there.
Right, because I know that, a lot of the automotive industry, they're going away from using combustible engines, and they're looking more for electric. So you even see a future of adding electric chargers out there for equipment. So we can add that then. We can.
Yes, I don't think there's anything real specific to that particular item, but that's an easy, very low-cost item to add at this point. As long as we can locate it and remember where we put it, that's the big challenge there. But yeah. Okay.
Comments? Seeing none, those in favor of the motion as presented, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That includes our formal agenda for
I
this.
think we have more motions.
Oh, four total motions, which we talked about before we start. One down, 3 to go. Thank you, Michael and Diane, for catching me.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to approve auxiliary services to DTE for electrical service not to exceed $50,000 to the Mannequin Smith Group for asbestos removal and construction testing not to exceed $60,000, and to Partners in Architecture for a contract amendment in the amount of $35,045.
Those in favor of the second motion as presented, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Third motion.
Mr. Supervisor, I move that the board approve the following amendment to the 2019 fire budget. Increase in revenues for the fund balance appropriation of $5,882,404. Increase in expenditures to the capital outlay buildings account in the amount of $6,500,045, and decrease expenditures in the transfer to fund balance of $617,641.
Those in favor of the third motion as presented, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fourth motion.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to approve the following auxiliary service expenses in the 2020 fire budget for 4. I apologize. Is it still to be determined, or is that?
Yes.
Okay. To be determined, vendors as follows: network and phones not to exceed 25,000, appliances not to exceed 15,000, and furnishings not to exceed $40,000.
Or,
Favor the fourth motion is presented, please state aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, that does conclude our formal agenda for this evening. Is there any additional public comment? Is there any additional public comment? Please.
Can I clarify that the second resolution on the fire station for approval of Manikin Smith was approved? Okay. All right, thank you. I didn't have it in front of me.
Okay, any other comments from director, staff, fire department team? Chris? No? Okay, very good. Any comments from the county commissioner's office? Very good. Any board comments?
So did we ever find out what happened to those 3 items on the roads that disappeared? Jade, remember, we were talking when we had our roads meeting that,
Yeah, we conferred with the county. Last week, we actually had a meeting with the county, and the announcement of those projects were probably a little premature. Those were actually in, there was a draft form that was being looked at and publicized. So when it came down to actually picking the projects, they were not on there.
so they're guaranteed next year? Or?
No, they're not guaranteed next year. We did have a conversation about what their preliminary projects are for next year, but that won't be known for another couple of months until they actually get their budget approved, and then we can actually make the announcement as to which roads they are looking at doing within the township.
We had a great
And I
meeting.
can actually,
How'd that
I could show you the document. It was pretty clear that it was a little premature to announce those, and I can absolutely share that with you.
It was a very high-quality meeting in terms of the honesty that took place during the meeting, and there was a significant amount of lowering of expectations on timing and when things would happen. For example, the drains. We had the boards of reviews for all the drains throughout the community, and everybody's getting excited. Hey, we're going to fix the drains for the first time in 5 decades. Well, it turns out that we are 3 to 4 years away from having any drain work actually done. 5 years. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, a 5-year program.
That's one, lower your expectations. The Lily Road Bridge, that is continuing to happen, should be wrapped up by November. That was the good news of the day. Ridge Road, still next year.
Ridge Road will happen next year, yes.
What we've asked for, and we're pressing very hard for, is a better definition of not only the projects, but the timing of their projects, not only for next year, but beyond that, which they are very uncomfortable doing. In Wayne County, they're not like Washtenaw County, they're not like Oakland County. And the ability to get to that level, I think there's a desire to get there, but they're not there today in terms of having the confidence to share, this is what we're going to do. We also, what else did we go deep on? Drain?
The drains are the big one, the road projects for next year, completing the IGAs with the county for the projects that
Several
we're
outstanding
doing.
IGAs we've been talking about for a year and a half that still haven't been signed, so we are getting closer. Wendy, was there something else that you thought was significant we should add?
The only thing other thing that I recall was that they're currently hired a company to help them prioritize all the roads over the next 10-year plan, which goes to helping them have more confidence to tell us the future years what they're going to be working towards.
Just to add on to that too, that's going to take a couple of years for them to even finish that study because that particular consultant is looking at every single road that is a county road in the entire county. It's not just Canton Township.
43 communities. So maybe there's value add if we sit down, maybe the 3 of us just double check the notes that you had pulled together.
Yep.
And maybe share that with the board. And so you know what the level of detail information we did get into is quite expansive.
I just kind of finished those today so I can summarize those and send that out to everybody. Yep. Yes.
So as you evaluate what you learned from the Wayne County meeting, and as we're putting together the plan for the 2020 main roads, are we going to have another work group meeting
I'll stop by today, and we'd like to, if possible, and I don't know if Bill will be ready, to have that subcommittee group come together again November or early December.
The Road Advisory Committee? Yes, we actually just met on that today, and engineering is putting together a plan for the 2020 and 2021 road projects. And then once engineering is comfortable with that, we're going to have the Road Advisory Committee meeting, hopefully the first part of October, before we actually come to the board and present with the budget. And so hopefully we have all the roads presented at the time of the budget for the next 2 years.
Just want to, over the weekend, announce congratulations to the administration on 2 fantastic community events. There was the hazardous waste pickup that was extremely well attended, and also we had the bands, brats and maybe brews at the barn. Yeah, the 4 Bs, which also sold out this year. So both events, victims of their own success. If you didn't get there early, you probably paid for it. But yeah, so congratulations on that. There's a meeting at the barn tomorrow for the dog park. Little catch people up on what the plan is for the dog park. Anybody that's interested in that. Community event, the mosque had an Eid carnival that I attended, which was lovely as well.
Rides were fun.
Not going any rides. And just wanted to announce we are going to be having an election in 3 of the precincts in Canton Township for it's a Van Buren School District election, and I have mailed out the applications for absentee ballots today. So that will be the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. It's about 5,000 of our 67,000 registered voters. So that's exciting as well.
Go ahead,
Quick
Diane.
reminder that taxes are due by next Monday, the 16th, so we've been busy this last week.
Go ahead.
So on Wednesday is 9/11, and we're having the Do Good Day here. So a lot of the organizations are going to be here for volunteer events. And last year, that was really great because they have some really good volunteer organizations here, in addition to Canton. And also, there's that storyboard thing at 5 p.m., so you can run from the library at 5 p.m. over to the summit to do the Do Good Day. And then our India Festival, right? Sunday.
All done.
Busy week.
Okay. Seeing no additional comments, call for a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.